Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6. And start out with our roll call. Go by each person. Okay.
I don't even know who lives in
Today
any of that.
is excused absence.
I don't even know who lives in any of that. They try planning on.
Oh, you're all good? He's all.
Okay, we'll do the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to, under the emergency clause, we're going to move one item on. And thanks to Bob Hunt, we have a letter that I was not at the last meeting. So we are going to move that item. It's a letter to Rick Gomez, which endorses the, what is it? The adopt the highway. Well, adopt the roadway. Okay, I have it here. And what I did, Bob, just so you know, I contacted Greg and I said, what do we do? And he said, well, we should have the board approve it. So we're going to do that. Right. And then what I will do is I will sign it and email it to you tonight or tomorrow morning. And you have a copy, and then I'll send it to Gomez.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
that fine? Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, so the letter that we have, here it is. I emailed the board members this letter and said you're supposed to approve it. If anyone has any questions, if you want to just take a look at it, and then we'll have a motion to approve it. You don't have any problem with that? You've seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay, then can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the letter.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All 100%?
All aye.
All right. So, Bob, I'll get that off to you. Thanks for looking at us. I wasn't sure. I was at the last meeting, so I wasn't sure where we were going with this. Okay.
I want to make a motion to suspend the first two items. One is this, on the budget, I got some new information after I posted the agenda that I need to take into account. We'll have to have a special meeting before the 30th to approve it, but
You're talking about the budget approval?
yeah.
Okay.
Preliminary budget.
No, this is actually the board approval. Preliminary one we submitted a while ago, last month. And this is the approval. And then, I should have wrote down, I have to staff it, by the 30th, the board has to vote to approve it.
What
By the
about
30th of June. And then the ad and stuff comes September, before September.
So would you state your motion?
You make a motion to drop the first two agenda, suspend the first two agenda items.
Suspend the first two
Till a
agenda
later
items, which
date.
is budget approval and children's center records report? Okay, do we have a second?
I think we have the Children's Center progress report that we're prepared to
I
give.
think,
Why, you gave an explanation why you wanted
yeah, I
to
didn't want
leave
to,
the budget.
I didn't want to.
Are they combined?
No, on the second one, the support was not explanatory enough, and so I didn't want to vote on anything.
Okay, so.
So maybe we can just make it the progress part, not vote.
Okay, so we'll suspend the support. So so the motion is to suspend the budget, item number 1, budget approval, and item number 2, part 2, the support section. I'll second that.
Okay,
You made the motion.
You made the motion?
Oh, you made the
No, I
motion.
made the.
Oh, that's right, you made the motion.
I was just restating
For a
it.
second.
You did such a good job, I thought it was yours.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 No, because I don't know why they're being combined, because I would approve using the budget approval, but not the support facility center. Because this was supposed to be done in December and then in June, and now you're wanting to push it again, without an explanation why you want to
The
push.
reason I did was because there was some concern that we didn't give the public enough notice on what support meant. So I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I would. Okay, then I would.
Okay, so we have full board approval, right? Okay. Okay, we're gonna move the Shelter Center report up.
What? We're gonna do the first part, she can still do her report.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
okay.
gonna do the consent calendar first. Or the public input.
Okay,
I mean, the public input first.
okay, public input on any item that is not on the agenda, if you all have an agenda. We would ask that you raise your hand, be recognized by the chair, and speak, and at the end of your speech, we would appreciate if there's no interruptions while you're speaking. Does anyone have input? Yes.
Yeah, I signed up on the sheet. Is that the sheet that we're going by?
Yes. when you-
Okay. 3 things. Okay. The posting of
Come on up here,
items.
so you can
If
see
you could come here,
on the
in
cell.
fact, we'd appreciate that, then you're in view of the camera, and we could capture your image.
And your dog. And your dog.
And the dog, okay.
We're a dog.
All right. Okay, it's just that things aren't getting posted like, on the website or on Dropbox. Last meeting, the survey was gonna be put on there. Tom, you said that it would be put on in another day or two, and I've not seen that yet. And, it's just, it goes on, I mean, things never get posted, it seems like, even though they say they're going to. The budget's not on there, I can't
I'm
find the
sorry,
budget.
it is done.
You're sorry, it is?
It is
Where
on
is
there.
It
that?
is, yeah, I actually printed it out.
Okay, where is that then?
In the section where the agenda is, there are a bunch of links at the very top of the page, and one of them says budget. And you go down
And when was that?
this weekend. It was on there before, but I just created a separate section now,
Okay.
to make it easier to find.
All right, then, today's Tuesday, so it was, you posted on Sunday maybe?
Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, and then I guess the other thing on when they are going, when you do put them either on the website or whatever, if they're not combined with something else, like before you said it's in there on the agendas or in the agenda
That budget's
package.
separate now.
Yeah, okay.
And I have a section for the treasurer's reports also.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that when the board says they're going to do something, they do it. And that's just not happening so very, very often. So I just thought I'd bring it up this time. And I know that we had some discussion about the Dropbox, and I did finally get on that, but I'm afraid to use it because of the viruses that people talked about. So I'm not really sure why we use the Dropbox and not use the website.
Yeah, I don't use Dropbox for
Okay.
that.
And then the letters that, let's just make sure when you say there's gonna be a letter that it gets on there. I mean, I spend so much time every day going and trying to look and find these things because I'm expecting them to be on there and they're not, so.
So what
we
it, Wendy,
need
I just
follow-
want to be
follow
clear,
through.
just what else isn't on there so we can get it on there? The survey and
The
what else?
survey is not on there.
As I understand, the survey.
Excuse me, I think she was, the survey,
It's-
and then, okay, the budget, but again, I have just so much trouble finding that budget, and you talk about.
No, I made it easy.
Well,
It's
but I'm
right on the
just,
top now, so then you'll find it this
but
time.
it's never in a timely manner, because we've been asking for that for so long. So it just needs to happen,
Take it.
you know, it's so frustrating. I'm so frustrated with this board. Anyway. And then the letters that we say we're gonna write, and they're never up there. You know, you always have to wait to get here, somebody else gets it and mimeographs it off or whatever, and it's just so aggravating. So I'm hoping that you guys will follow through. And Tom, so the survey, what was
The survey was sent to the board a couple of months ago, and
we know, yeah, and I think you talked all about that last time. We had that whole discussion, and then you said that it would be on there in the next day or two.
I don't post that. I understand Greg was gonna put it on the Dropbox, and that's what Greg does. I don't do the Dropbox, so I don't know if he did it or how, if it.
Well, you said it was gonna be on there, though, that's what I'm just saying, so I
I
don't
will put it
know.
on there.
Okay.
I don't know if I said it. I said I would have it given to Greg, and Greg was gonna post it.
So where do we find that now?
I'll put it on the website.
So you guys have had it, but no one's put it up for public consumption?
I think did it go out by email?
No?
No?
You talked about that too, so see,
Okay.
these things are all, and nothing comes to
It just went out by
fruition.
email. The general overall consensus went out by email.
No, it didn't.
No, it
Yes,
did
it
not.
did.
I sent it out.
Okay,
Yes, it
we
did.
will, I will ask that you raise
Okay.
your hand to be recognized, please. Okay,
Okay, so, anyway, again, I'm just so frustrated with not having things. We talk about it and we, you know, it just doesn't get done. It just has, you guys have to be, either say, no, I'm not gonna do it, and then we don't expect it, you know? So, and the consensus is not what we're asking for. I'm asking to see what the people that we paid the $4,200 or however much was, I wanna see the whole package. I wanna see everything.
well, what you're going to see is the report that they submitted to the board.
Okay, did they not submit any other paperwork? It's just a report? I mean, I know, I just wanna be careful that I'm not misinterpreting your words, or you're mincing your words,
No,
or.
there's no other report.
Okay, so the only thing that came in
what
was
you were
this
gonna say,
report?
yes.
Okay,
Right.
so did anybody else on the board see anything other than that?
Not,
Well,
there's a box of paper.
there's a box of the actual surveys,
Okay.
and those surveys were given to Greg Bates at the meeting before last, when I was here. Those surveys contained a longhand writing. Now, you're not gonna see that.
Now, but they should be open for public,
Absolutely.
yeah, so
Yeah.
those need to be scanned. Each one of those is scanned, it's easy to do, just put them in and scan them, and that should be part of it also, so. It's just really, really important, because it's just way too long now.
Okay.
And then the thing that has nothing to do with posting, okay, but a couple of months ago, talked about maybe making some stickers or bumper stickers or whatever. It was before the chili cook-off, and at that point I realized if we ever needed something like that, it's just so easy just to print that out and laminate it and stick it somewhere. So I haven't pursued getting the stickers, but that's something we could do in the right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, Bob.
Could I interject a comment very briefly before I forget it? The requirements for the budget notice are kind of complicated, and I would be happy to assist in telling you what they are. And your council can help you out a lot. I think in 5 minutes you could outline.
I'll send you the link that I'm using for the links to the state site that has the steps, but I welcome your input.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Linda.
A couple of things. One is that I want to express my concern that you are putting out agenda items or things that are going to be on a vote, and the material that's part of the agenda is not part of the packet, and there's no information about where to go to find that information. It's startling to me to find out that you're supposed to be voting on a budget and nobody's had a chance to look at it. And I would suggest to you that it would be inappropriate to vote on a budget. There's not been sufficient public review of that. Second, issue is that, and that, by the way, is a serious issue. It is a violation. Second issue is that in the last month's meeting, I requested that some kind of performance, something be done about board performance. I was told that later on in the meeting that would be discussed. Then the meeting got confused with all the other stuff going on, or it got talked about, but it wasn't what I was thinking, or anyway, I don't know that it ever got talked about. And I'm wondering if at some point you will ever address the issue of performance of individual board members and their lack of performance and consequences for their violation of state law and Parks Board policies.
I think that should be a policy committee issue, so I'm going to ask that be discussed at the next policy committee meeting. Shay and I haven't had one in a while. She's been busy with her mom, but we'll definitely put that on the agenda. I think that's a good point.
I just want to point out that as long as no board members hold any board member accountable for if they are violating the law, then you are also saying that that is okay and that's fine procedure. So I would hope that board members would have high expectations. And one of the things, including that most of the board members have been on the board for quite a long time now, except for you, Linda, I would assume that the learning curve is done and that there should be no more excuses of I don't know the law. Either people know the law or they're willingly violating the law. Thank you.
Linda, I have a question. Are you asking for a performance report to be designed and implemented? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking that there be consequences, that there be a policy that this board has, that there are consequences that a board member faces when they violate the board policy and state law.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Is that not already in the bylaws?
I'm not aware of the policy.
Our bylaws are our board policy, and it's not been updated since '93, I believe. And there are new policies that are not written in the policy document that we have, so, but I don't think that has been added.
There is some language in there in regards to performance.
Yeah.
It is fairly broad. If someone's not performing their job, you can ask them to step down, but it's not specific to violations, I believe.
Yeah,
It was updated in 2007 primarily to
we right.
correct typos.
And I have
You're right.
since 2009.
I have one 2007 also, basically.
Linda, does it say whose responsibility it is to declare that a violation has occurred and to request
Well,
that someone step
I
down?
don't, yeah, it just is broad. I think that is there a violation on that
In
you're
the policy.
suggesting? Is there a violation that you're suggesting? Because if it's a violation of the Brown Act, then there's some language in not only the bylaws, but the Brown Act that suggests that there's time to cure, and you have a period of time to cure the violation before it actually steps with the board.
Yes, there are several incidents of Brown Act violations. The most recent one is your submittal of your current agenda without sufficient description of what the items are and without the backup of what's going to be voted on. But I'm also thinking in terms of violating the purchasing requirements that are part of the policy of the purchasing requirements, and it's California state law that you're supposed to be following the organization's policies for amounts up to, I think it's either $5,000 or $15,000, and then state law over that. And that was not done, and I pointed that out in the past. I don't need to keep talking about it, but I want to know what remedy is there going to be for that violation.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other public input? Hearing none, we shall move on to the consent agenda.
I want to pull the minutes.
Minutes of the last meeting?
Yeah, we had agreed that that we wouldn't have commentary or trying to interpret what people meant by things. So I think that those items that are like that address particular agenda items, should just say no action rather than trying to figure out what people said. We have a camera now, so if there's anybody that needs to go to it, then it's better than trying to put on bail and figure out what people mean.
Okay, so are you making a motion?
Well, I just want to pull them, because we'd already agreed to this some time ago.
Okay, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I'm
No,
not.
I mean, even way before that.
We didn't hear you back
So
here,
it sort
Ron.
of slid.
We didn't hear what you said up back here.
So we're not approving the minutes, is what Ron is saying.
Right.
We're not approving the minutes as they're written because they're incorrect, and the minutes are gonna be revised to be corrected, and we'll approve them at the next meeting. Are you
Okay, so
making a
the minute-
motion?
Wait, I wanna finish this conversation. So we're pulling the minutes of the meeting, last meeting. Okay, Bob,
You can pull them for consideration, but the one thing I wanted to say to that, I thought these were the best minutes I had seen in a long time. They were informative. I know what was done to the minutes, they were stripped down, many things were left out. Thank you.
okay, so we,
We don't need to vote, we just, she's gonna
okay,
modify.
We're not approving it.
okay. So the item that we're still on the consent calendar, and we have transmittals, bills.
Now you can just vote on this.
Okay, so,
Make a motion to approve this.
okay, so item 5, A1 through A5, consent calendar,
Minus the A4.
minus A4, which is the approval of minutes. Okay. And we have a motion.
Make a motion, we approve A1, A2, and A3 transmittals.
And A5? Oh, no,
Now,
A5.
A4 and 5 are Neil Sidney.
My second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Bob?
I'm sorry, one more comment. When you pull an item from the consent calendar, you pull it for discussion and action. You don't just pull it and it's killed. You guys have to make a decision. You have to take a vote on what to do with it. You can't just say it's pulled.
Yeah, I
We
said-
That's
did.
what any
No, we voted
director,
to approve A1, 2, 3. He said
Okay,
you need to
okay.
vote to approve
Yeah, okay.
pulling it.
Make a motion that we pull those two items and Bev modify them as agreed at earlier meetings and approved as is A1, A2, and A3.
Okay.
And I second.
Okay. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay? Aye. Okay, you're on. Okay. Okay, we're on to business. We are pulling the budget approval, which is what we just doing on. We have a children's center report.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you May numbers. In May, we had 19 kids enrolled. We lost 3 and gained 1. And in June, we now have 25 kids enrolled. We have a lot of people that have been calling due to our new marketing strategies, a lot of walk-in tours, renewed interest in the program. We are working on our Rooster grant of $15,000 to go toward our certified outdoor classroom. And we have an Eagle Scouts project that's going to be coming out and building some nature trails, or we're proposing that they come out and build nature trails. In regard to facility and maintenance, I currently don't have a copy of the Capri report, but I communicated with Shay regarding the MSDS and the IIPP. We now have a MSDS which is complete, and the IIPP, which is an injury illness protection program, is now it's in progress. We're waiting on a sample copy from Capri. They've been contacted about that. We're creating a volunteer and donation program for family members of enrolled children. So if your child is enrolled, you can sign up to volunteer your time or sign up for donations of paper products or food products or program supplies. In May, our donations from the chili cook-off, I have listed as $7,400. $74.11. We billed $2347.50 in tuition. We collected $42.79 in tuition. And our total income for May was $10,224.35 because of the chili cook-off. Our expenses were about $9,624, and we had a variance of about $600.
Positive.
Positive variance, yes.
Very good.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of phone calls due to our signs, a lot of old families that have been, like I said, it's a whole renewed interest with people. A lot of people have seen our new marketing campaign. A lot of people know that the center's undergone some renovations, so they've been excited to come out and see the difference in what's been happening out there.
I have another $420 from the chili cook-off to still put in.
Oh,
Great.
That G gave me a while ago.
Okay. Yay. It's been a very exciting week because yesterday we had a family with 3 new kids enroll, so we're just kind of touching the tip of the iceberg here of getting over that hump of just struggling. So it's really great.
I have a question, all right. Are these families that are coming there now, are they local or are they coming from outside?
I have Portola Hills families, Trabuco families, mainly from that direction right now. So not necessarily in the community. The family that dropped in yesterday is new to the Majeska area, and they just heard about us. So she just kind of showed up yesterday with 3 kids and said, I want to enroll them for the summer. So, yeah, so that was big. That was really
We
great.
have some that dropped out earlier and now are returning. Did I hear that?
We have people whose children used to attend, or they had older siblings that attended, and now they have a younger child. So they've come out and said, oh, we want to see, we heard the program's gone through some changes, we're really excited to see what's happening. So they've come out and toured their youngest children. I've had 2 or 3 families do that. We're getting calls on a regular basis for tours, so that's really good. In regard to fundraising, Shay and Linda are sharing marketing, fundraising, and social media. That's kind of, I know Shay's she's been dealing with her mom, so I don't know what's going on with that necessarily.
I don't understand what you're saying.
This is the fundraising group that we put together, the 3 different
Oh,
areas.
that, yeah, we
need to
haven't met.
We need to resurface that.
Okay.
Currently, we have 3 part-time staff and 1 temporary student floater who's been an amazing help. We're having a staff appreciation dinner in July for our staff in service and trainings. Everybody's been working really hard, so we want to show our appreciation for that. We're going to have regular parent meetings starting in September. Our open house update is now scheduled. Penned in, not penciled, for August 9th, and that's also going to be our 4-H preliminary sign-ups. Kelly is starting up, we're starting up a 4-H program in September, so we're going to have people, they will be available to sign up at that time. The advisory committee, I've heard, is in process, so that's very exciting. I've seen some movement on that. And summer camp update, do you want to share anything about the horsemanship program, or?
We actually have met with Marissa at Carbondale, and she has agreed to provide a site for us to do our work and supplies and horses as well for us to be able to do our program. She's been looking over the documentation that we have to put the program together, and she's going to assist us with anything that she might see as lacking, since she's already kind of had those things in place, and she's really excited to work with us as we are with her.
Good.
We currently have 6 kids enrolled in the horsemanship program. And we are applied and are applying for still Heifer International 4-H, and we're hoping to get the grant so we can do the certified outdoor classroom. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of online marketing, a lot of new banners and signs you've probably seen posted along at all corners. And a lot of people have been walking in just from seeing our signs. So things have been really, really positive and moving forward. So, and it looks beautiful.
Feedback when
Oh,
people come to the site now.
tons
too,
of
as well.
positive feedback. People are, Specialized Tree Service, I think they're called. Steve Peterson, I met with him and his wife Linda yesterday, and they are gonna come out and assist us with our landscaping and our gardening. They've got some really great ideas, and they're donating their services. So that was really exciting, because we've been looking for a gardener to come help us out.
Great.
That's good, because he was the last donating landscape person there, and he knows where the sprinklers are.
Yes, we went through the whole sprinkler system yesterday,
He
so.
knows.
There's so
What's
much
wrong
to
with
suck
them?
up and get out of there.
Yeah,
as
there's
far as
so,
dropping.
yeah, there's just a
Sticking
lot
to
of
trees,
debris that we
trees.
need to get cleaned up, so we're really excited about that.
Where you received some contacts through the survey, have you had any luck following up to those people?
I've gone, I have a handful of people to call, and one woman I know is really excited. She came in yesterday, and she was someone who had done a survey, and she wants to do anything she can to help us. Yeah.
She's a teacher in another school district.
Yeah.
In Majeska.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I have
Okay.
a question. Did you talk about the Nature Explorer classroom already, or?
No, we were just talking to Joel, since we can't really afford to do a full week of his camp right now, we're gonna talk to him, we wanna put something together where maybe once a week, or once every other week, we can have him come out
We
and do
wanted to
some sort
propose
of.
something, just because right now, the camp programs, we're wanting to build up our camp program, and we
Yeah.
have to right now to divide the kids up into separate, a bunch of different summer camp programs, like,
Yeah.
it's difficult. But we still want it, the kids ask for him a lot,
Yeah.
we really wanna be involved with him and have him, you know, as possibly someone we can contract with to come in and
Mhm.
do.
That's Eco Explorers. I'm talking about Nature Explorer classroom.
Oh,
I'm
that's,
sorry.
that's, the Nature Explorer Certified Classroom is it's a company that, they
Yeah, I
pro-
know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was wondering, it's on here, is that something that you're working on, or?
That's
you've
what we're working on.
already applied?
We were talking about the Rooster Grant being applied to that. We've talked to, Kelly spoke with Nature Explorer, we're registered with them now. that we
Oh,
get-
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
what they proposed doing is having someone from their team come out and basically do a landscape design for us.
Mhm.
And if we can't do it right away, if we don't have the funding, they give us a step-by-step plan on what to do. So whether that be the case, or with the full Rooster Grant, we are able to afford to have them come out, or our own landscape designers will all come out at a lesser cost and be able to put that in place so that we can get the certification. Because really getting the certification is just meeting a list of criteria.
Yeah, it didn't seem
And
that
then,
hard.
and then utilizing it, but at this time, we don't meet that exact criteria yet.
Yeah. Steve said that he would be, I shared that with him, and he said that that would be something that they would definitely be able to help with.
He can give you pieces of cut trees.
Yeah.
Slabs
It's
and-
really not that hard to do.
Tell 'em
There's
what
a
you
couple
need.
of
Yeah.
key pieces that do need to be implemented, that would need a little bit of, contracting work, as far as, like where our water
Yeah.
play areas and things are, having running water and so on, but really, in my opinion, fairly minimal things.
Yeah.
Has anybody offered to fix that sink in the front yard?
I'm actually having a drinking fountain installed there,
Oh,
thanks
yeah.
to Steve and Big Mike, I think his name is.
Right.
They're donating a drinking fountain, and we're gonna hopefully have the drinking fountain installed, and maybe if I can get Steve to keep the sink, we'll be able to keep the sink as well.
I think the drinking fountain is more important because
Oh,
kids
it will be
get
a
so
sink and
thirsty.
a drinking fountain, and we're
Yeah.
having a drinking fountain installed
Yeah.
inside as well.
The problem with that sink was so many kids washing things with sand, and there's not enough drop in the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
It gets full, and
We're
it would have to
actually
be flushed.
With the implementation of what the Nature Explorer program has, there's a non-sand water area where it's more like, landscape, and it doesn't have the dirt component to it, so we're hoping that that'll be an area that can be also like a washdown area and turn grass from that area, so that we
Yeah.
don't have those kinds of problems.
Pure cleansing.
Did you find, I've worked there so long, and I have questions. Did you find a place to do water play this summer?
In what way? Because we've been doing water play for the last
Okay.
couple days.
So it's working
Well,
out okay?
Yes, although I have a lot of concerns just regarding the drought, so I've been just really on the top of the staff, like, let's try
Yeah.
not let the water run, but maybe we
Yeah.
can fill up buckets
One of the things
instead
that we
and.
had talked about with like the Nature Explorer was
Yeah.
having some sort of, faux rock with a water pump.
Mhm.
And then
That's a
to
good
go
idea.
into like a drain to where it comes and recirculates
Yeah.
itself.
That's a really
So that
good idea.
we don't have this ongoing hose
Yeah,
going all
right,
day
yeah,
long. 'Cause
Right.
That's one of my concerns this summer with water play, was just that, we're in a serious drought and we need to be respectful of that, and I want the kids to be conscious of that as well. So we let them know, we're gonna fill these buckets up this morning, if you run out of water, we'll fill it up again after lunch, but that's what we've got to use for today.
That's a good idea. I have one other question. So it says campers 6. That's how many are enrolled in summer camp right now? When did summer camp start? Did it start?
Technically, it starts, well, yes, it started last week.
Oh, but some kids are still in school?
Yeah,
Oh,
Tribuco
kids are still in
isn't out
school.
till tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at the big part of our program not starting till next week for summer
Oh,
camp.
okay, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
does anyone have any questions for the,
I had a question. Linda, last month you were saying that the average kids per day was up to 4 kids. Would anybody know, with all these new enrollments, what the average child ratio is per day? How many kids are per day now?
Well, in June, we have 25 children enrolled.
But I know, but how many are actually coming and paying
Per day.
per day?
Well, we have a report here. It looks like they're all paying. And we looked at the report, the outstanding tuition is $921.65, which we are working on.
Collecting. None of those families are attending at this time.
Right, so everybody's paying, 100% are paying. It's my understanding.
Yes.
Per day, no.
Yeah, how many kids are there in attendance per day, in an average? There was
What time
3 point-
equivalence?
3.8.
Approximately, I think.
7. Today we had 11 kids.
Today we had 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but average per day, not
Seven.
just on a big day or a low day.
7 FTEs.
Pardon?
7. 7. For the month of June, it's 7.
Okay, thank you. So it went from 4 up to 7?
Yes.
then. Okay.
okay,
We just got 3 new kids, so, full-time kids.
excellent report, thank you. I'm so
Thank you.
glad to see that the
Yeah, we're very excited.
I think this is a good example of the community getting together, volunteers, people putting their back to the wheel. I mean, I was skeptical at first on the survival of the school, and I think one of the things that the survey did show, if you looked at the numbers, is a lot of people say, if it's self-sustaining, keep it
Yeah.
open. And that was, I mean, close it if it's not working, but if it's working, keep it open, and yeah, maybe do something else too.
Yeah.
So I think all that's coming together, and you're doing an excellent job. I'm really happy to see you.
Thank you.
And
I wanted to extend an extra thanks to Lisa because she's really gone above and beyond in assisting with the marketing of the program and helping, putting the signs up out there and just really helping out. So thank you so much. It's really, yeah, you really made a difference. So thank you.
Okay.
I like this report, this newer style report with all of the things. Usually we would have to listen in and a lot of board directors would be, busy writing or whatever and probably miss. But it's nice to have all of the activities that you're working on and everything on this.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very good. Thank you. I have a couple of announcements that I want to make real quick here. The Wiener Schnitzel people donated some, they donated some peanuts.
Like when you say it.
And I understand that Gene Chapman has a plaque, and it was suggested that, there were 2 suggestions. One, that we make a presentation here, and I thought that'd be a good idea because everybody can get involved. And then Dennis said, hey, no, let's go over there and do it over there, and that's fine with me. I just want you to know that we did get an email, and this was from, let's see, who is this from? I'm not even sure.
It's from Dennis.
Is that from Dennis?
Yeah.
He says, I spoke to the Vice President of Marketing and Operations late Friday, and they're gonna get back with us. Well, this is from Wendy. Let's see.
This
she's
one was
asking-
from Wendy.
Yeah, she's asking when we're planning on doing it, and this is the response.
This is, DM is Dennis McHale.
Okay, Dennis
So that's
McKay.
that's
There you go.
Dennis.
So it's in process. We will do, a group of us will go down there and do a proper thank you and a plaque for the Wiener Schnitzel. Okay.
Wendy, can you make a note too, we need to do something special for the lake too? We're kind of taking them for granted in this process.
Yeah, I don't think they were on the thank you. The thank you list. In fact, that was, I think, Lori, I talked to you today about telling me how many thank you notes had been sent out, and
I
how
would
many are
say
not?
Basically half of them have been sent out.
Okay.
And the rest are we're just waiting to get some postage to send them out.
Well, I'll bring the postage. I mean, that was part of our thing, is that we wanted to get it out in a real timely manner. So
Okay.
do you need stamps? Is that it?
Yeah, if you want to bring stamps, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's all it takes? It's all done? We just need
They're all
the
pretty much
stamps?
done, right? Mostly done.
Mostly done. Do we have a number? I know I'm just...
No, we don't have
Okay.
a number because the number
Okay.
keeps
I
changing.
know I've been
Okay.
writing them out like
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then at one time we thought the kids were gonna write them. Did that, or are they putting a picture in, or what are they doing?
No, we're just writing
Just-
our own thanks for, contributing to
The
the.
staff has all been taking part in writing. There's a lot, there was a
There's a
very
lot.
long list of names of people that we wanted to thank, and, we definitely don't wanna leave anybody out. But
Yeah, well, I made up the list with the stickers and stuff, so,
Yeah, we're
I know there's a list, but,
That have been
okay.
in the process of finishing
All righty.
that, but, definitely, handwritten note to,
Yeah.
what, to
Yeah.
your people. It's-
I know,
it's a
I'm
lot
not
of
very
people,
good at
and it's a really
it.
great
My mom
group.
always has it fit.
And we're definitely appreciative of everything that they were able to pull in for us to be able to get that funding.
That's
Okay.
never been done before with, thank you, from the Children's Center, for that many people involved.
Yeah, that's
And so
a lot
it's
of
gone like
postage.
to the,
It's good, and
To the big players.
people, for sure, I mean,
So-
we wanna tell people to appreciate what they've done.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Can-
Next year, let's try to get the email addresses so we can send them out by email, because that 200 people, it's a lot of folks.
And we're handwriting, yeah,
Yeah.
Kelly's been handwriting them, because we wanted it to have a personal touch.
All right, are we done with this? Thank you.
So, are you, now that we're talking about, are you just gonna add the lake to your,
The lakes should be on there, aren't they?
yeah, no, I didn't put the lake on there.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They need something
Of
special
course, you know
from,
what, I didn't see,
down there and
I
sing
didn't
to
see
them.
I didn't see their
Can-
name on it, but we absolutely will add it.
No, yeah, it wasn't on there.
Yeah,
Well,
we absolutely do it to Christina, and we'll hand deliver it for sure.
yeah, make it
She was
to,
exceptional. That was
make it to either Irvine Lake or Serrano Water District.
Yeah.
Because that's the board that votes on whether or not we get to have that.
Yeah, oh, I
So,
totally agree, and.
if you
and
guys
the
could make
expense that
something-
they overlooked for us to be able to have the event there was
Yeah.
over and above, so we definitely don't wanna leave them out.
If you guys could make something maybe that the kids are involved with that one, because
So
it's
we've
been
some
like
fun
9
things
years.
for other
Yeah.
people with the kids, actually putting some.
Because they have an office and maybe they'll
Yeah,
put it on the wall.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
definitely doable.
Okay, thank you. I think we got this pretty well under control. I have a letter that came to President Bates from the Abbey, and they will be sending out a notice to the community, but I just wanted to make an announcement. I don't know if you have it, this is something, is this what the Board Bates? Yeah, and the main thrust of the letter is they are gonna start grading over here. And they said the clearing and grading is likely not to begin before July 9th, or about that time. And they're also going to be grading in this area, but they're very respectful of what they're doing. They're gonna try to get in and get out. I'm not gonna go into all the details, because this stuff is still in the works, but once they get started, but I wanted everybody to know that around July 9th is when you're gonna see some equipment up here. And so you should be aware, and they will be communicating with the community on what they're doing. So that's the announcement I wanted to make on that. The next item is an item that I'm bringing up, which is the
Is it agendized?
the use of the SMRPD and Children's Center names in fundraising. Now, what's happened in the past, we had an experience our first year of Christmas in the Canyons, where an individual in the canyon went out on her own, nobody here by the way, went out on her own and solicited funds from some group and put it on the Inter Canyon League 501c3 number, and it was a big problem. So the only way we can control what is being solicited for, whether an organization wants to raise money for us, or whether an individual wants to have an event, or however, is we have to have a policy. And I conferred with the district's attorney, who actually helped write this policy. And this is called Use of SMRPD Entity Names in Fundraising. The names, name variations, abbreviations, logos, and images of the Silverado Majestic Recreation Parks District, Silverado, and entities including the Children's Center, Pepper Tree Farms, Christmas in the Canyons, along with any event sponsored by the SMRPD, are and shall remain the exclusive property of the SMRPD. Use of these names for the purpose of fundraising, applying for grants, or soliciting donations will be authorized and approved by a vote of the SMRPD board, along with complete transparency of financial transactions for public agency property. The board may approve use of this property to public benefit nonprofit corporations or established groups which benefit the area and or population served by the SMRPD, which displays responsibility, community-oriented leadership without excessive overhead. So the purpose of this policy is to control our name, our good image. We don't want somebody going out there and collecting for some organization, whether it's the Wounded Warriors or the Red Cross or something, and they're not really authorized to do that. So what I would ask the board to do, if you have, this is a copy of the actual text, and again, this was approved by the attorney. I would ask, any questions?
Betsy saw this?
She wrote this.
Okay. So does this mean that we have to vote? This is the first time I'm seeing it.
This isn't on, this is information. We're not voting on this tonight.
No, I know, but it's a question. We're not voting on it. But I have a question. Would this mean that we would have to vote on like grants that we're writing?
What we would do, what this is for, is that if someone wants to apply for a grant on behalf of
In our name?
the Parks District or the Children's Center, they have to go through us to get that approval. That's all this is. In other words, you can't do it on your own, because guess what? We had a big fundraiser, here's some money for you, and you go, wait a minute, we didn't know about it. And there's a lot of people said they donated to us, and we didn't know this was going on. So it's basically to control our image and our name. But by the way, I did have on my, when I said to you, the thing I did have, well, didn't make it. It's okay. So,
Okay, so we'll have to move it to the next.
yeah, we can move it, yes. Do you have a question?
If as teachers for the Children's Center, we do have an intention of applying for grants, does that mean we present it to SMRPD and it's to be voted on at a meeting like this, or did that or the Silverado Children's Center Advisory Committee vote on that?
Well, what we would ask you to do, because you are an entity of us, that you would just coordinate grants and say, okay, we're applying for this grant. Yeah, we don't want any secrets. Right. But any outside organization, any individual, any group, anybody else that says, hey, I'm gonna collect money for those guys over there, we need to know about it ahead of time, and we need to have some control on how that's handled. So that's what this is.
Does anybody out there have a problem with this? Because this doesn't make sense to me.
What was standard?
Well, it's like people can't
Hold
say
on,
we're
sir.
raising money.
Hold on. Linda, I'll recognize you.
Thank you. I have some concern, well, I think that that's probably a standard policy that you should have. You don't want, because there are disreputable for-profit people that go out doing fundraising for good causes, and the good causes get like 9, 8, 9, 10% of the revenue that they raise, and the for-profit corporation gets the rest of it. And it's a total scam, so I think you're right that you need to have that kind of permission in place. My concern is your reference to the Inter-Canyon League, and that something happened to the Inter-Canyon League. And I would ask the treasurer of the Inter-Canyon League, I'd like to know what it is specifically that you're talking about, because I'm not aware of this problem.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Did you make, was there a reference made to the Inter-Canyon League?
No, my example was when I first presented this, is that for Christmas in the Canyons, our first event, an individual from the canyon went out and solicited money without our knowledge for the Christmas in the Canyons SMRPD event.
Not from the Inter Canyon League.
No, but
you
they used the Inter Canyon League's 501c3 tax exempt number, which created a legal problem. In other words, she says, I'm collecting money, and somehow she got a hold of the tax exempt number, and the deal never went through. But it created a problem with the Inter Canyon League. At that time, Mike Cogan was the president, and it created almost a legal problem because there's somebody going out and doing something without our knowledge using somebody else's number. So what we're trying to do, this is a simple way of just controlling who uses our name and what our I mean, anybody can collect money. We're not going to stop anybody. We're not saying you can't do it. We just want to know about it ahead of time. We want to have control of what they collect.
But what you're saying, Tom, is pretty standard for anybody who if you own the name of the Christmas in the Canyon and all of these other things, this is a standard, everyone, unless that logo or whatever is in public domain, then that's your standard right.
I'm actually not through with my question.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Chad?
I'm not through with my question.
Linda wasn't through.
Oh, she's not done? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm not through. I think you did say that, you did make reference to the Inter Canyon League, and I just want to express my concern that what you're actually talking about is something that happened when Mike Colgan was president, and so that was many years ago, and it creates great discomfort in me that you would say something about the Inter Canyon League that
I think you misunderstand.
I didn't hear it.
I'm not discouraging the
Well, you did mention the EC, number of the Inter Canyon
Okay,
League.
what I said is, and I'll repeat it one more time and maybe everyone can listen. An individual representing themselves as a Christmas in the Canyons SMRPD person went to a company and said, I'm collecting money for the Christmas in the Canyons SMRPD. And oh, by the way, here's our tax exempt number. The tax exempt number that this individual gave to that company was not our tax exempt number, it was somebody else's. We did not know this was happening. We found out it was happening, and it created a problem. How come you guys are using the Inter Canyon League's number? We were. Well, this person is. Well, we didn't know she was doing it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disparaging the Inter Canyon League. It has nothing to do with the Inter Canyon League other than the fact that their number was used to collect money for us. So,
Yeah, just for your information, those numbers, the IRS EIN numbers are public information. You are required, any nonprofit is required to give them out to anyone if they want to know what that is, so that they can decide, they can do whatever research they want to do to make sure that you are an appropriate organization.
Somebody gave the wrong number, that's
it.
Okay, Chad?
Do you currently have a policy in your book for this purpose?
As far as I know, we do not.
Okay, so is there a problem with having a policy? Because you have a policy committee. And if you have a policy committee to have policies, this is what it's supposed to be doing.
But I'm on the policy committee and I haven't seen it.
So are you presenting it to the policy
This is
committee?
for information, so we'll need to bring it to the policy committee. So we'll take it to the policy committee, and we'll hopefully be able to vote on it next meeting.
Okay, just so everyone understands. When I
Mary
said-
wanted to talk about it.
Okay, but when I presented this to the district attorney, I mean, our district's attorney, not the district attorney, Betsy said this was great. She loved it. She added a few sentences to it, says, I support this. So this was from our own legal that said, yeah, you ought to have this. I mean, there may be some difference of opinion in the room, but according to legal, they think we should have it. No, I'm sorry.
I think the confusion, Zach, with your example, I think the confusion of back then was that because she was collecting the money, they wanted to be able to write it off as giving it to a charitable place. And they used the 501c3, the Inter Canyon League, because at the time there was a confusion that this was a government agency and they couldn't write that letter so they could write off as a charitable donation. And I think that's where the confusion came in when Denise went out
There
there and
was
did
a
that.
lot of confusion about that.
The
Yeah.
confusion was the individual that was doing it didn't know what she was doing.
She didn't know, and she didn't have any,
that's-
she didn't try to do anything
that's why
wrong,
we
it
need
was
a
just
policy.
a it was just a misunderstanding
Okay.
more than anything.
Okay, thank you. Mary?
That was Linda, it had nothing to do with the Inter Canyon League or anything, it was the letterhead, the logo for the Parks Board, if I remember correctly, was on the letter with the Inter Canyon League's number on it. So it was something that was not, from either the Inter Canyon League as the donation letter or from the Parks District as a donation letter, it was something that was cobbled together with those two parts. Was what the
Okay, so
situation was.
They use it like Christmas in the Canyon letterhead and
They-
then ICL.
Number. Yeah. They cobbled it, cut and paste and put it together
Tell
as
me who that individual was at a later time.
at a later time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Wendy?
So, this letter that Betsy wrote, it's gonna be put on the website?
No, this isn't approved. This is gonna go to the policy committee, which you could come to that committee meeting and give your input and everything, and then it would have to come back to the board for a vote, and then if it was voted, then it would go on the website.
Oh, okay,
Unless
so
it was
we're
a
not
sample-
looking,
Unless it
so-
was a sample to be voted on and put on the website prior. But it needs to come out of the
okay,
policy
so I
committee
guess
first.
what I'm saying is, will the public be able to see that before it's the night that it's voted on?
Should be, yeah. You
Okay.
should. You should.
And that, is that the kind of thing that it's supposed to go on the website, or is that the kind of thing that's supposed to go on the Dropbox?
It will be in committee meetings, so if you attend the committee meetings, you'll be able to see it and we'll be
Okay.
working on it.
All right,
Part
so,
of the agenda packet.
And it'll be part of the agenda packet, the final draft.
I see what you mean, though. I mean, we're all over the place on stuff. And occasionally you get a MailChimp and it has something attached to the agenda that you can look at and it's a draft letter. And occasionally it gets posted
no,
on the website.
I've never seen that
I saw
attached
one
to the
recently.
MailChimp.
On the agenda, if you clicked on the agenda.
Yeah, the chimp that comes out and it says, go here for the agenda, you click on it and you just get this, this, and then you get usually you get the transmittal payments. And that's all. Unless,
I didn't see anything else.
you know,
That's it?
so,
Sorry, anything that's attached, the order I usually do is the agenda, the transmittals, then minutes, and then any other attachments that
Yeah.
need to be with it.
You can look at my stuff, Wendy, I just
Okay.
I just printed it right off the website, so you can take a look at it. If you're not getting it, I'd be glad to show you how to get to it all, because it's really all there. It's pretty thorough.
The one meeting that the MailChimp went out and it had an agenda click and you clicked on it and it had the draft letter. Was it the draft letter for the Rio Santiago? It was a draft letter and it was attached and people got it. And there was a lot of buzz because the community got something to look at before a meeting, before they thought it was gonna be voted on. So it would be good of us to, anything that's gonna be voted on that's public,
Okay.
that the public could look at.
okay.
before you-
And so I guess my request would be, then that if they're those separate things, if they could actually be not just part of the agenda package, but if it's a letter like that, it should be labeled, that letter should be identifiable on the website, other than just in the agenda package.
Well, let me ask this, Ron, is that possible?
Well, yeah, of course it's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, it just takes more work.
But it doesn't normally happen that way, it's part of the agenda package. I mean, I guess, Shay, as part of the policy committee, we can post draft policies, because you can post something as the committee chair, right?
If they don't get voted, then they'd have to be taken down. But,
Yeah, but usually it's part of the agenda packet, because it's really just in draft and it's not official yet, so it's not posted until it's official.
Okay, so is that something then that would go in the Dropbox instead, not
It would
on
be
the
part of
official
the
site?
agenda package.
Okay.
Until it's approved. Then it would be an approved policy.
if it was approved, it should go.
Well, I understand
On the website.
anything that's approved should be on that website, without a doubt. But the things that are under consideration and that are gonna come and be discussed and voted on at the meeting, if those things can be available for people to see before the, so we have an idea of what it is and,
Right, what Linda's trying to say is that if it's part of the agenda package,
I
and
understand.
you click on the agenda link,
It'll
you
print out.
get the package. It's part of the package. If it's not in the package, then that's another problem. But if it's part of the package, it doesn't have to be on a separate link in another area. They're just not doing it.
No, we know it's not in there now because it hasn't gone to policy committee yet. So we're saying that we agree, Shay and I agree that it should be, and we will work on that. That's right, Shay?
I got a question. I emailed Ron about the budget because it was not on the website, and he said it's on the agenda packet. I went through and spent an hour looking at every agenda packet for the last 6 months. It was not on there. And so he just posted it the last couple of days because
Yeah,
I
he
just
said
checked.
that. He said he
Well,
posted it
we can't post it a
Saturday.
day before the meeting and expect people, that it's not attached to the agenda.
They've been doing that.
I know, expect to get a vote on something like that.
We're not voting on it, but it is.
Well, it was put on here for a vote. That's why I was trying to find it.
Yeah,
I just thought of another reason why it would be
discussion and
good
vote.
to put these things on the website is a lot of people are using their iPhones or whatever, and they're out and at work and everything, and a lot of your files can be on your home computer, but that's accessible from wherever you're at.
Okay, I think we've.
Yeah, but we,
You know, we actually, I brought something up a couple months ago, that we need somebody who we can use to post things on the website. So if there's any volunteer in the community that would like to post things for us, we are in desperate need of a volunteer to do that. We don't seem to have the money right now, it doesn't look like it.
Well, let Collins do it. She does it all over for the next national.
So if there's a volunteer and somebody wants to talk to me, I'd be glad to talk to them.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, if you raise your hand, we will recognize you, but we appreciate if you don't interrupt the speaker while she's speaking. Okay, Brett, you got a comment?
I was just saying, there is someone that has shown interest to me that is a website, that's what she does, she's an IT person. So I'll talk to her and then
Okay.
I'll tell her to get a hold of you.
We have already, she's already gotten a hold of Ron, but nothing has happened.
Well, maybe if we get a hold to Mrs. Kearns, that maybe something will get done.
so so Ron, when you post something on that thing, it's a lot more difficult to post like 2 different things than just one thing?
Not a lot more difficult, it just makes the links and it makes the website look kind of messy. That's one of the reasons why I started putting things together by month. And then I started trying to create separate categories for things. And I do have separate sections for miscellaneous docs and the budget and the treasurer's report now and agendas. But each month I create the agenda packet and I put it there, and it's easy for anybody to go in there and look at it and see where it is. If you start in that same location, start to add multiple documents, then it just looks.
Well, but on the thing you do, I mean, they're already like, you've got the one thing miscellaneous or something, and then above that, apparently I just saw, Steve showed me that you put the budget in there. So it seems to me you can have multiple headings for those miscellaneous letters and things, so that you don't have to do what Linda did, is go through every agenda package and try to find those things individually.
Okay, well, this is I would say, a technical question that we need resolved, and we certainly would appreciate anyone that has the time and the knowledge. Ron's been doing it all, and he's been doing as good as he can do, and I mean, there are sometimes I bug him, where's this, where's that, and I gotta get to it. We don't have a big staff, it's just us, we volunteer, we try to wear a lot of different hats and do a lot of different things. So there are some things that take a little time, and sometimes we just don't get done as quick as we would like. But we would appreciate anyone that would want to give us some help on this. So see Ron, or see one of us, and we'll try to put you together. Okay, we're going to move on now. One of the next item that I have it's probably no secret, we've had some problems, we got a video camera going here, but we've had some problems with the videotaping. And, I know the last meeting we had, well, not the last one, I wasn't at the last one, but the one before that, there were some parts that were not put in there that people thought should have been in there, and there were some parts that were duplicated, that we said, why are they there? And Jay said she was having a problem with her computer, so that was the problem. Somebody did a research, and we went back to all of the meetings, and we found that on the taping of all of the meetings, there was a big disparity between the actual meeting time and the taping time. In some cases, it's over an hour. It doesn't appear on tape that's at a meeting. And in some cases, it's, I think the latest amount was 7 minutes. I know during Linda Kern's presentation for appointment to the board, right in the middle of her presentation, the tape ran out. And it took a few minutes to get the tape back up. So unfortunately, anybody looking at the YouTube missed the bulk of her presentation. And if this is going to be a record of our meeting, it should be more formalized than that. Now, we appreciate that there has been taping, and it gives us an opportunity to see at least parts of the meeting. We talked to, I know Greg sent an email to you, Shay, on this, and basically we were told that the camera, the videotape, the YouTube, the whole thing is the owners are the Petersons. So,
No, I said it's public domain is what I said. The
Public
camera is owned by the Petersons, of course, but the videotapes online are public domain.
well, I want to read a email that Greg asked me to read. He said, and he sent this to you, Shay. He says, Shay, I'm sorry when you and Brett stated that the videotaping was so that it was action only minutes and would have the video as a backup. I understand, or I understood that you were volunteering as all we can do to do this for the community. Okay, I understand. I was shocked to see your comment that the tape and it was your personal property, and you could do with it as you please. If you do not do it for the community as a permanent record for the meeting, I'm very disappointed in you. And he concludes, Tom, please read this letter into the record at the meeting. So I have done that.
Who's it from?
So,
Bates.
Greg Bates?
I'm still talking. So what I'm going to propose is that I talked to Jim Fainer, who is a kind of a computer geek in the county, and I asked him to put together a proposal to have a video service, videotape our meetings. And what we discussed was having a centrally located camera, having an omni mic, which means it captures everybody in the room, so the people in the back are heard just as well as the people up front. The entire meeting is videotaped. It would be done by remote control. So when we start the meeting, we click it on, the tape comes on. When we adjourn, we click it and it goes off. Then that would be downloaded onto a website. Now I understand we have a YouTube website connected with our SMRPD. So anyone in the canyon who's not at a meeting, or if you're out of town, or if you want to go back and see what happened 6 months ago, you can go and see the entire meeting unedited on our website. And I have a proposal from Jim that I would like you to entertain. And this is a project that he would look at, and we haven't got actual numbers on it, but he's got some estimates. And the package would be video camera, wireless remote, memory cards, I guess the whole 3-hour meeting. He's got that external microphone, video camera piece, whatever that, price, okay. And the mount, we would have Steve just run some wires up, put them on mount. The camera would come down after the meetings, and it would be kept in storage. So with that, that's what I wanted to present. And I see Connie's got her hand up back there. I'd be happy to. Connie, go ahead.
Couple of things. Number one, I consider Jim a friend. but I think it's incumbent on you to get more than one bid. I think, and maybe at least 3 bids. And Jim, you know, he works for himself, he can probably undercut just about anybody. Number 2, I would like to see, and you see these in security cameras, and I think if we're developing this system, we should have a camera that is like a security camera and has multiple facets to it. They're not that expensive. You see little bulbs, and I don't see any reason for it not to be a permanent installation like security cameras that could see us, that could see you, that could see everybody to make a very good record. And Shay does her best. You know, you guys are cutting Ron some slack. We understand you guys are up to your ass in alligators. Shay has got her mother's issue on top of everything else she does. So for the stuff that happens with the camera, I think we should all forgive anything that we consider an indiscrepancy. But the potential for doing this correctly is a better idea than just, oh, slam a camera, haul it out. That puts the camera moving, that makes delicate electronics get put in a box and pulled out. And so a more permanent installation, I think, is more intelligent, and I think I insist on multiple bids.
Okay, well, thank you. He did not, this bid isn't from Jim. He was doing some searching for us. He was going to get multiple bids. Somebody's got to get multiple bids. Whether Jim gets them, or whether you get them, or I get them, or if somebody, I can give you a sheet if you want to come back with some numbers on this.
I've got a wedding.
We patterned this after was the various, the planning board and the board of supervisors, their camera system. Now, they have high-end camera systems with that. We didn't want to go that high. We can't spend, you know, $20,000 to have a state-of-the-art studio-style camera with all kinds of microphones. We were looking at a whole system for about $3,000. And that was just an off-the-cuff bid based on...
I didn't hear that number?
3,000.
I didn't hear your number.
Under $3,000.
Okay.
Now, Connie, I'd be happy to give you this sheet if you want to, if you've got some sources that you can get back to us and say, we can find this.
I have got a wedding in front of me, so I'm not focused on anything but that.
Well, you don't have to do it now. I mean, if you're interested in doing it, if anyone in this room is interested in providing us with one of 3 bids, I'd be more than happy.
I will take a sheet at the end of the evening.
That's fine, that's fine, and I don't have a problem. This is just a starting point, and please understand, we're saying, okay, here's kind of what we need, here's the direction we want to go. We're open for ideas and suggestions, and if anyone comes up with a better one, hey, we're open for it. So there's no vote on this at this point. What I'm asking is that anyone wants to consider being involved in this, please do, and this is what we want to do.
I'd like to make a comment. There's a little bit of amnesia on this board because we did this months ago. And the camera issue before we started videotaping was on the floor. What are we going to do to videotape our meetings? And the board was contemplating putting a lot of money into the Children's Center and other things and was afraid to spend money on equipment and without a budget and everything. And we agreed in the meeting to slap that old camera that I have from 2000 and whatever to videotape meetings, and that's where we left it a long time ago, quite a few months ago. So, but I am I would be excited that there was a better system to do it and to do it well without any old-fashioned tape overlays and stuff like that, because it's really difficult. And to capture everything. One issue for mounting it here would be that all the meetings would then need to be here because we couldn't take that equipment with us to Majeska. I know we don't have very many meetings over there, but we'd have to have a backup system for Majeska meetings.
Okay, well, what we had discussed, and again, please understand, this is the initial stages of discussion. We had not confirmed anything. There would be some type of ceiling mount that would be, that the camera would be connected to. And the only reason why I suggested that it come down is there are different people that use this room. And if we had a camera up there and it got broke, or somebody decided they wanted to tamper with it or something, we have no way of securing the camera. So if it comes out and we go and it goes back in when the meeting comes on, then we have control of it. That same mount could be used. I haven't had a meeting in Majestic as long as I can remember, but if we do, we could obviously put up a mount in Majestic. And
Yeah, I agree. I think we, with Connie, I think we need to get 3 bids. I think we need to put out our requirements. And we need to have 3 people or more come in here and make their recommendations, bring it to the board, and weigh out the criteria. I think she's right.
Okay,
Linda, the earth may break apart
okay,
now.
let's do this. You said you had some modifications. I'd like to see those before we proceed beyond this point.
Oh,
Go ahead, Brad.
I think a little, I mean, I think it's great to get the equipment updated, because definitely what we're using is outdated. We got a new computer, and this camera is so slow the way it fed through all these wires into our new computer, it just kept erasing those sections in the tape.
It didn't erase sections in the tape.
spent like 6-7 hours trying to get it to stick in the new computer, and it kept on erasing it. And to make accusations as if it was deliberate, that we were leaving things out, is a little offensive, you know, because we're trying to do the best we can with the equipment we have, that we're just using from our house.
I don't know that there was an accusation.
He made it very clear that there was stuff left out.
Censored.
No, I think that what
was great.
he was saying
No, he
that
said censored.
He said
that there are
censored.
parts missing.
No, I'm not talking about Greg, I'm talking about both those letters.
I don't know
like
how they were missing, whether it's.
how they were missing, but you assume that we did it on purpose, the way you said it.
She edited,
The way
she
you said
edited
it,
and
it seemed
censored.
very
Simply saying that if you have a
offensive.
3-hour meeting and you have an hour and a half tape, something went wrong somewhere.
Well, what went out on emails to members of the public is quite different than what's being announced at
Yeah.
this table.
Okay.
And we all got it.
It's a little rude, you know, that we try to do the best we can, and then you just like, get out of your guns and start shooting it up, you know? And it's a rude, very rude.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question. This is all based on equipment that captures and keeps the data on the equipment, correct? There's no web streaming in this, because what we were looking at before was web streaming, and web streaming costs, you have to be on a server and pay a monthly.
There's cameras
And I
now,
don't see
there are
this.
cameras now that are Wi-Fi equipped, and you can do things, you can actually send them to your computer and host it there, and it's not,
Oh, so you're not paying the,
You're not paying
oh, that's,
massive amounts.
that's good, because that's one of the reasons why we didn't like it before, was because there was a monthly fee.
I located the service that there's $50 a month.
Yeah, we won't go into details on this because there's still too many questions.
That's
but-
what I wanted to put on.
Right, but the last paragraph, it's unknown the time. There's the local disc storage and that. This, we have talked about having a service, whether it's Jim or somebody else, actually download this and store it and put it on the YouTube. So that's part of the package, it's not just the equipment. So, okay, with that said, I think we've covered this. I think we're gonna take a look at this down the line here next meeting maybe. I would like to proceed, and we are now in our standing committee. If there's any comments from our recreation committee, finance committee,
Did I make a
recreation committee?
Oh, Bob said at the last meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
If it's
Go ahead.
not-
There's a note at the start of the committees that explains there will be no discussion of committee issues unless agendized below. It was to stop this off-the-cuff stuff of polling the committee members. Unless there's something agendized here, Baker Canyon and
So we
board
already
meeting
have that.
attendance.
So, there's no report from any committee?
I thought we were gonna have something to bring to the board on this meeting there. We finally have sent documents all back and forth with easements and everything else. But it's not, they haven't presented them to us yet. We're close.
So next month. So that's the open space and trails report.
Right.
Okay. So I guess the standing committees are represented where we have nothing to report on any of these
There's
committees.
nothing agendized, no reports.
Okay, no report, okay. And now we're in the ad hoc committees.
Oh, I wanna make a correction, and Bev, if you wanna make a note, we already agreed that the policy committee is a standing committee. It goes up underneath standing committees, and not ad hoc committees. Because ad hoc committees are formed for a short-term purpose, and then they dissolve after that purpose is reached, and the policy committee will be ongoing.
Okay, thank you.
But
Okay,
we weren't gonna do that, I thought that we weren't doing the meeting attendance because it was gonna go to the
That's
policy
the
committee.
policy committee meeting, so it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
But thank you for putting it on here, so that we could.
okay. Ron, you have a, I guess, ice stock? Nothing there, okay. Okay, nothing on my preservation, communications, nothing there. Silverado Children's Center, we've already had a report, but is there any additional comments from? Oh, yes, Tim.
When's the next meeting for the policy committee? Because you're gonna talk about this policy, so
We
when
need-
are you gonna have that meeting?
You're right, and thank you, because that's probably one of the more serious
Yes.
committee meetings that we have to have, other than facilities and maintenance, which we have to have too. So, wanna do something next week? I can get a sitter for my mom real easy, so I can come here if we wanna set the time.
You have a date?
Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
Now, the 4th of July is coming up pretty
Oh,
quick.
The 4th of July is Friday, so you
Yeah.
know, people
Okay.
are gonna be leaving town on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm sure.
So Wednesday's do it that week after that?
I mean, Wednesdays, oh,
You may be gone.
I maybe,
Yeah, you think about it, you may be gone.
what's the date, Wednesday?
Thursday is the 3rd of July.
Oh, it's
What
my
happens on the
anniversary and a very important wedding.
Can't miss
Oh,
that.
gosh, my anniversary.
So what's the
Well, how
following?
about Tuesday?
Let's do it the week after 4th of July then,
Yeah,
huh?
Wednesday after 4th of July.
Yeah.
Sadly, I
Okay.
have.
Wednesday after 4th of July?
Do we have a date?
What time is the reception?
You can
In the car, the Wednesday after the 4th of July
Which is the 9th.
is the 9th.
July
9th.
9th.
July 9th, policy meeting.
So
here.
we need to book it with Steve and make sure that there's nothing already here.
Could we do it on the 8th? Tuesday the 8th?
Would that be a Tuesday?
Oh, no,
The 8th,
Tuesday is the 8th.
no? It's just, I'm not sure I can come or not.
Oh, you're giving us your schedule.
You
Yeah.
should
Oh,
go
okay.
before I
I
go.
go on the 9th, I can't make it.
I have company coming in on the 8th.
Can you make it on the 8th, Tim?
2:16.
Pardon?
Can you make it on the 8th?
I'll
I
I'll
can,
adjust my schedule
I
accordingly.
can do that.
Okay, so what's the final date for this?
Well, Shay and I are gonna check with Steve for the 8th or 9th, and it'll be one of those two dates, whichever one is available here.
Preferably the 8th.
Okay. so-
And we don't have the ICL delayed or anything, because it's the 4th of July week? It's still the
ISAL
first,
is meeting on the week before.
still on the first?
The first.
Okay,
Okay.
You-
all right,
The 8th or the 9th, you're gonna
here,
decide that? Here at 7
Here.
o'clock?
right.
Okay. I think we've gone through that. Do we have director's comments? Linda, you have a comment? Closing
I just wanted to really thank everybody in the community for pulling together on the Children's Center. I too had some skepticism and some doubts, and I'm really I'm actually pretty shocked that they're positive this month, and I know a lot of it has to do with fundraising. But I really wanted to thank everybody because
What would
really
be
they're.
what would be the real money they pull in if there wasn't the chili cook-off and there wasn't any fundraising?
Well, I think that's a question that we're working on
Well,
for June.
but she said that it was 10,400 and the chili cook-off brought in 7,400. So it tells you they brought in $3,000.
Roughly, yeah.
So they're 4,000.
I mean,
No,
according to what
actually,
she
I looked
said.
at the
Yeah.
numbers, and they brought in tuition about $4,500. So I did actually look at the numbers pretty closely with her, and for June, which she didn't really announce, but the expected tuition's about $5,500 for this month, and we're only at 50% of the month. So, we're getting pretty close. And the other thing that she didn't mention is that Kelly was out because of her foot, so her broken ankle, so Lori had to work more. But we're really trying to get them to decrease the salary because that's the biggest part of the expense. So I think we're getting pretty close, but we still do need some fundraising. But we're getting pretty close to break even. But I just want to thank the community for helping out. I know Tim helped out a lot, and Rick Schultz and the Chapmans and Wendy and Linda and you know, helped out with the chili cook-off and Linda May. So thank you all really very much. That's appreciated.
Okay, you have a comment.
Oh, I just wanted to follow that comment a little bit. The Children's Center hasn't paid its own bills for a long time, and the fundraising has been a part of that, you know, floating for the last few years. So prior to that, fundraising was for special, you know, art supplies and stuff like that, and equipment and everything, and now it's paying the bills. So unfortunately, that's the direction that it's been going for quite some time. And probably not gonna change for a while unless something really special happens.
Well, is the SMRPD gonna be able to continue to fund it?
That is what needs to be voted, because it's supposed to be voted again.
Well, I don't think the
Continue or not.
idea is not for us to fund it. It's either to fundraise or to help make it sustained. And I think that if we get the Roosters grant, which is, I'm actually writing it right now with Greg Bates, and we really do expect to get it, we will not have to fund it. And I think with now having, you know, 7 kids, we only need 1 more to break even.
If that's only for the summer, what happens when they all
No,
go to
these are,
school?
we have some permanent kids that have joined,
But we don't know.
but we don't know.
Kevin, did you have a
Yeah, I
question?
had one more question. I thought, I was under the impression you would give it till September. That was talked about a while ago. You were giving it till September, and that was your drop dead, open or close.
I
Is
think
that
we're
still correct, or is it not
I think we're still
correct?
I think
Still
we're still
need
looking
to.
at that. Yeah, and it's not, I don't think it was a hard, fast drop dead. I think what Greg said, if you look back, he said if they're breaking even and they're supporting themselves, or fundraising is supporting them, we'd let them go further than September. We'd vote to let them go further than September. But if they're not, yes, I mean, if they're in the negative and they continue to be in the negative as they have been, I think we'd have to take a hard look at it.
Now, I would just suggest, I don't think it's a bad thing, because for them to be losing $500 a month, and the SMRPD paying that, or even $1,000 a month, and the SMRPD paying that. Lots of parks and recs pay for supplemented schools. It's not a regular elementary school, it's a children's center, and I think you could set yourselves a number there as a negative that could be taken up by the SMRPD.
Okay,
I don't think you can do that.
well,
You've been doing it.
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Greg, you had
We've been
a,
loaning that money.
Been doing it for years.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hopeful, hopefully, because lately I've been seeing a lot of young families moving into the canyon, so I
Yeah.
hope that reflects, you know, into the children's center, because it does seem like I've seen a lot more
Yes.
children.
A lot of
But there are a lot
kids.
of really young, but I'm hoping that that's gonna be a positive thing.
Right.
Children.
thank you. Connie?
My memory says that Greg says if we see improvement towards September. I don't believe he framed it as a drop dead. I believe he framed it as we need to see improvement by September.
agree.
And that's just,
Well, but something to consider is last September, we didn't want to enroll the kids and set the parents up thinking it was taken care of, and so we said, well, we're not gonna drop it midterm. So I do think September needs to be something to look at, because
Unless you're gonna
if
have
I,
a perpetual, we can't close it, we
well, but
can't
that's what I'm
close
saying,
it.
if I was, you know, a working mother dropping my kid off and thinking they're being taken care of, and then come in October, you say, we're closed, you know, you can't do that to
Yeah,
people.
and I think that's why I forced Lori to pick that date of August 9th, because we're either gonna know how many kids we have enrolled or not.
Okay, I'd like to add to this discussion. I had talked to Gene Chapman, who has done some extensive research on one of the recommendations from the community that came through the survey was a community garden. Now, I didn't think a community garden would fly, but she has some numbers, and she has some examples of community gardens that are generating money. So one of the other alternatives or options we have is we have the Children's Center, which has got its own, say, income and expenses. If we enhance the facility, we're not spending any more for the facility, but if we can do something else with the facility to bring in additional funding, and especially if it works in combination with the Children's Center. I mean, how great would that be to have a Children's Center and have the kids go out and play in the garden? I mean, it's part of the package.
Child labor.
So, anyhow, that's something that we're looking at, and I think there's some potential there. So there is movement, there is some positive signs. It's not cast in concrete, that this is it, this is drop dead. Unless we make a buck on this, day we go away. Connie, go ahead.
Okay, as to the community gardens, I'm all over that. However, there was a discussion that I remembered when we did that big meeting about how do we save this. I'll call it our aw shit meeting. The adults have to be separate from the kids.
Thank you, that's what I was gonna say.
So there is that concern. You can't have stray adults who are not fingerprinted wandering around.
Okay.
Still in the exterior part of the.
Right, I just wanted to add that to the discussion, so, because he said kids working in the garden, that's California law, we're kind of stuck with that.
Connie, please understand that this is just a spark of an idea. We don't have the details. I don't know all the ups and downs of the thing. I'm just saying that there is some promise here. And the garden is just one of the concepts. There are some other concepts that may be able to benefit the community and generate some revenue. So I want to make sure that we understand that we haven't settled anything. Go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say, in the past, the summer camp was always the time in the community, the Children's Center was in the black. It would be above and beyond. They were actually putting money in the savings during the summertime. So it seems to me if they can't show that in the summer, because at the time of school starting, you find yourselves, a lot of kids dropping out. And I forget what the numbers were when I was on the board, but I believe it was an extra $1,000 or up to $2,000 a month extra that the summer camp generated in the summer. I'm just saying what's happening, Tom.
At this point, we don't have all the facts, we don't know all the numbers, we don't know all the options. It's fruitless for us to start banning on what we can do with it when we don't know what's going on.
Right.
There are some changes, they've made some improvements, we see some movement in a positive direction. I'd like to just leave it at that, and we'll take a look at, as we go, what the future could be.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
and along
Becky,
with the finance part of it, because I'm just a number guy, so I'm just thinking, you're up to about $40,000. I think the public is real concerned that you've already put $40,000 into, supplementing the Children's Center. And I think the public's real concerned in how long that's going to go on, and there has never been like a formal date saying how much are you going to put in from the very beginning. And last June or whenever Amy left, August, there was never a number said, okay, we're going to put 20,000, whack to 20,000, we're going to revisit this to see how much more money. It's just been an open checkbook.
Okay, we're not going to solve that tonight.
I'm just saying that the public's really concerned that it's so open-ended right now, and I think this board owes it to the public to come up with some hard fact numbers to let us rest a little bit, saying that you got a plan. And I think that's why people are concerned.
Okay, Judy?
I think the one thing is about knowing it ahead of time for parents to, because they then, if they have to make other arrangements, they've got to do that in August for their child to go on to another school. They can't wait up to the last minute because lots of times the places are full. So out of courtesy to the ones that are coming, that decision should be made not right at September, but earlier, because some of the schools and things start in the middle of August.
I understand. Thank you, Judy. Okay, let's do, okay.
I could give you a recipe. Let me say one more thing. One more thing.
Comments now.